Let's see how. Do I want this in frame? Do I not want it in frame? Let's see right there. All right, that looks good. Let's get some ambient lighting going on. We're set. So what is good, guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Xavier Ashton, aka Ashton Royale. And in today's video, we're doing a video that I thought I would never talk about, to be honest. But considering the fact that I've helped a lot of family and friends in their credit journey, they told me I should make a video about mine. So today we're going to be talking about how I went from an 800, I believe, down to my lowest being a 580 and then back to 800. But first, let me start off by saying I am not a financial advisor, but along the way of my credit journey, I did learn some tips and tricks that will boost your credit. So first, let's begin on how I got to 800 in the first place. And I'm going to try to make this short but detailed at the same time. So growing up in the late 90s in New York, you'll know about the lifestyle is very hustle and bustle. Thanks to my dad for teaching me the values of a dollar at a very young age, because on top of his 9 to 5, he also will hustle and wash cars in the back of the building. Now, me being a young kid, I always wanted to learn how to make money. So my dad used to give me $1 for every car I used to vacuum, which now that I'm thinking about it, Pop, that was low-key child labor. But when I tell you at the end of the day, I used to go home with like $8 to $10 as a kid. In the late 90s, you felt rich. I used to go to the bodega and feel like I could buy the whole damn store. Now, I say that to say, as a kid, I was shown that cash is king, but we all know credit is God. And personally, I have my aunt to thank for that. At a young age, she taught me the values of credit. And at the age of 14, she put me on as an authorized user on one of her credit cards. And on that same token, she actually handed me my authorized credit card and told me, whatever you spend on here, you have to pay back. So always keep that in mind. So from the age of 14 to 18, I did just that. And by 18, I had a 750 credit score. Also at 18, I financed my first car, but that's where things got tricky to me, because I thought, honestly, it was the number that just counted. So when I got my first car, I had to put it under my parents' name because my credit history wasn't long enough. Now, by the age of 19, I really started to understand how credit could work for you. And by that time, I was working at Finish Line, and that's when I first discovered reselling, but on like a larger scale, because I was always reselling. My first job was Polo Ralph Lauren, and I used to finesse. So I used to use my discount, buy the country polos and Polo Rugby, and resell it online, eBay, or just people around, because I was pocketing like $30, $40 a shirt. But when I first started working at Finish Line, mind you, I was already a sneakerhead. I already had kicks. People will come to me and ask me, yo, bro, you already got the kicks. You think you could get me a pair? Now, at the time, I don't know now, Finish Line's discount was 30% off. Yeah, you already know what I was doing. So yes, I was getting kicks for 30% off. So let's just do the math. Retros back then were like 180. So 30% off, you was getting $54 off. So if I sold it to you at retail, I already banked $54. Now, I was selling them for like $30 to $40 extra, but I was getting $80 to $90 per kick. Now, mind you, back then, I always had 2 jobs and I was going to school full time, but I was doing so much reselling that I didn't even clock in my second job at a point. And when I finally got everything figured out, I told myself I need a bigger credit card. Now I applied for my own personal credit card, but I didn't know it wasn't a credit card. And here it is, my first credit card, actually charge card, that I got at the age of 19. As you can see on the bottom, it says member since 2014. So yeah, my first actual credit card that I applied for was the American Express Gold card, because it has no limit. So being a youngin' in my head, I'm like, I could go to any sneaker store and buy all the inventory, and everything was going good. I was selling everything. I was paying the card off every month. My credit was boosting, but it wasn't really boosting because, once again, it's a charge card, so it's not really a credit card. And everything was going good until I got into a partnership with one of my homies that I grew up with. And needless to say, you know, we're young. We didn't really know about business, so we didn't understand how stuff really works when it came to dealing with 2 people and 2 businesses. Long story short, we bought a whole bunch of inventory, wasn't able to sell it all, wasn't able to make that monthly payment on my card, and then I slowly got to get fucked out of my own bread. And yeah, it sucked, because 5 years of having a credit card and doing shit on my own, I never had a late payment, and then boom, you know, this shit happened. So now, if I remember correctly, a month from that happening, I totaled my first car, which, when I still think about that crash today, I 100% was supposed to be here, but thank you, God. It's just crazy how life works, because 2 months prior, I was at an all-time high, and like now I'm at an all-time low. I had to return to my second job. I was still going to school full time, so I had to like ask for rides and everything. It was just really hectic trying to work 2 jobs and go to school with no car, and everything that I was making was trying to pay off this debt that I don't even know how. Like I said, I still don't understand the situation. So since that accident, some time has gone by, I think about a month and a half, and I was able to cop my second car. Now, mind you, my second car, fully under my name, everything. So I was so proud about that. But now, considering the fact that I got a newer car, my car payment was higher than my last car payment. So I stopped paying my Amex off again. So also keep in mind, I'm not making any extra income because I can't resell because I still owe money on that card. And the income I was getting from Finish Line and I was working at Lowe's as my second job just wasn't enough to pay for all my bills, pay for school, and try to pay this card off. Now with all that, that leads me turning into 21. I was so like stressed out because I was trying to figure out what to do that I just wanted to enjoy my birthday. So I celebrated in Miami. And instantly in the first day of being in Miami, I fell in love with Miami. So after me being in Miami for 3 days and celebrating my birthday in Miami, I don't know why, but I told myself I need to move the hell out of Pennsylvania and I need to move to Miami. Now me moving to Miami, if you know me personally, you know I would say it was the dumbest, smartest thing that I ever did at a young age. And the reason I say that is because I have a very love-hate relationship with the time that I spent in Miami. I'm very appreciative because I had the opportunity to stay with a family member while I was down there. But I would say the dream and opportunity that I was presented wasn't there. And that's what I'm just gonna say about that. So long story short, I basically moved down there for a whole year for nothing because all I did was get myself in more debt because if you know, Miami is very expensive. At that time, American Express was telling me, cause I think my card was like 3 to 4 months late, that they're gonna just close it or quote unquote, if I pay it off, that they would keep my account open. So because now I'm in a new city, now I have more opportunities to resell. I told myself, I'm gonna focus on paying this card off because I'm gonna go back to doing what I know, which is reselling. So I made a dumbass decision to pay my car note every other month. That way the money that I saved, I could put towards my Amex card, that way to pay it off. I paid it off and they still closed my account anyway. So to be honest, I don't know why I just didn't let them close it because now I was back on my car note. So as you could see, I went from a high to trying to just fix things that my credit just kept going lower and lower and lower. On user mistakes, honestly. Now, I do want to say while I was living in Miami, there is one person I do want to thank, and that's my homie E. And let's just say E was a corporate America street dude, but he always looked out for me. He knew my situation, but he didn't have me feeling like I wasn't shit. You understand what I'm saying? So me just being young and prideful, I would never ask nobody for money, still to this day. And he knew that. So what he would do is like, he would take me to the strip club, right? He'll give me like $400 and say, yo, whatever you don't spend, you know, it's yours. You know, we would enjoy ourselves at the strip club. I probably spend like 50 to 100 bucks and pocket that 300, which definitely helped the brother out, you know, paying for food, some bills, gas. Yo, I used to drive 65 miles a day just to go to work. So as time went on, I was still looking for other ways to make extra bread. So one of my boys told me about UMG, I believe it was, where you could play like wager matches for Call of Duty. Y'all always been nice in shooting games. So I went to Best Buy and I applied for a Best Buy credit card and I bought myself a whole new gaming setup. Yeah, I know, sounds pretty stupid, but it wasn't because I was actually making money off of it. So it was actually helping me pay my bills and everything. The only thing is I let somebody use my Best Buy credit card and they bought a TV. It was like a $1,500 TV and they never paid me back for it. So once again, the same thing that I went through before, I just didn't learn. So boom, you know, I'm right back in the hole. I still got my car I got to worry about. Now I got $1,500 in this and they keep charging interest. It was just a shit show. The person I was staying with in Miami, we just didn't see eye to eye anymore. So they wanted me to move out. So I was down there for a year and then my parents told me enough's enough, bring your ass back home. And the funny thing is I couldn't even make the decision because next thing you know, 24 hours, I already had a train ticket to ship me and my car back home to Pennsylvania. Thank you, mom and dad. So I moved back home to PA. I reapplied to work at Lowe's, and I think I worked at Lowe's for about 3 weeks, almost a month, before the manager that I had said some crazy shit to me, hella disrespectful. And I forgot what she said to me, and whatever I replied, her words exactly were, well, aren't we thinking too highly of ourselves? Absolutely not. I need to get the fuck up out of here. God just got a way of making things work. I went out that weekend and one of my boys actually told me he had a job opportunity for me, which was a company called Sanofi, which is a vaccine company. The only thing I didn't like was it was a temp position. So you will only work like 8 to 9 months and it would be off like 3 to 4 months. The pay was damn near like double what I was making at Lowe's. I was notified I got the job on a Monday. I think that Wednesday I told him Friday, like, I'm not working here no more. I'm not gonna lie, that job was a blessing at the time. 3 months later, I signed myself up to go back to school. I worked overnight at that job, so I would work 10 at night to 6 in the morning, and then my classes would be from like 8 to 3 or like 8 to 4, and then I would just take a nap and then go to school, and then yeah. So here's when I finally started taking the initiative to fix my own credit. So the first thing I did was download Credit Karma. The second thing I did, which was on Credit Karma, was print my full credit report. Then in that report, I highlighted anything that was below $1,000, and I highlighted anything that was close to 7 years. Reason number one, personally, I just felt like like anything that was below $1,000, you just could do 4 payments of $250 and it's gone. Now, the second thing, which was highlighting anything close to 7 years, is because collections only last on your credit report for 7 years. So let's say something is 6 years. There's no point in you trying to pay it off and getting like contact with the creditor. 1 year, it's gone. Now, the next thing that I looked at were my hard inquiries. Now, a hard inquiry lasts on your credit report for 2 years. And what a hard inquiry is anytime when you apply for like a loan, a credit card, or anything like that. It should be under like 3 to 4, like really it should be only like 2. 3 to 4 is okay. If you're 5 or more, that's absolutely absurd. And that also takes a toll to your credit. And then the last thing that I looked at is kind of directly linked to the hard inquiries, and that is my credit history. Now, remember, I had a credit card ever since I was 14. The fact that I had, I believe it was damn near like 4 to 5 hard inquiries, that means in a 2-year span, I applied for so much shit. So anytime when you apply for something, it makes your credit history go down. The fact that I had like 5 applications of something going on in less than 2 years, it brought my total credit history down a shit ton, which isn't a good thing. So now that I had all this information at hand, I made myself a 3-year plan. And the reason it was 3 years is because, like I said, with collections, it takes 7 years to fall off, and then the hard inquiries take 2 years to fall off. This is where I got locked in. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just what I did. The first thing I did, which is right on Credit Karma, I disputed everything. I didn't care if it was my debt. I just disputed everything because I wanted to see if it actually worked. Now, out of like, I think the 5 cards I had, like 2 of them actually did get disputed, so it actually worked out. That did boost my credit a little bit, but once again, once stuff is in collections, if you pay it off and it gets off your credit report, it's really not going to boost your credit that much. Now, the next thing that I did is apply for a new credit card, which I know seems stupid because I'm trying to get myself out of debt, so why did I get a new credit card? But it was the fact that I had no revolving credit other than my car note at the time and just paying off like the stuff. So I needed something, some new like credit. So I think at the time I applied for the Capital One Platinum card. Credit Karma told me like I would be approved. It's a great starter card. And if I think I remember correctly, I think they gave me a $500 credit limit because I know I didn't spend over $200 on that card because I used the 30% credit utilization rule. You have to show these lenders that you're responsible. In actuality, I was taught 2 rules, the 30% rule and the 15-3 rule. So the 30% rule is never use more than 30% of your credit card limit. So just to make it easy, let's say your credit card limit is $600. You do not want to spend no more than $200 on that card. Now, with that $200 balance that you owe, that now leads us into the 15-3 rule. Well, this ain't really a rule, it's more of a hack. So basically what you do, well, what I did is, let's say I have that $200 balance. 15 days before that $200 balance is due, I will pay half, so $100. Then 3 days before it's due, the other half, that other 100, I will pay. What it shows, the hack, your credit card utilization is down twice before your credit card billing cycle is due, if I explain that correct. You could actually look it up. The second thing that I was doing was hitting up these collection agencies. So when you're dealing with these collection agencies, they could be real shiesty. I'm only telling you this from past experiences. There's only one way where you should be dealing with a collection agency. Actually, there's only 3 reasons why you should be dealing with a collection agency. Number 1 is you just couldn't dispute it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's your debt. You just couldn't get away with it. 2 is that they give you a discounted price for what you actually owe. So let's say you owe $2,000 and they say, hey, if you give us $1,000, we'll close the account. Be careful with that because, like I said, they are shiesty. I've seen where you paid $1,000 and the agreement was you paid $1,000, but the technical agreement was you pay half now and then they make you pay the other half later. The second thing is when you pay that $1,000, make sure you have in writing or you record that conversation saying, if I pay this $1,000, are you guys going to close this account and remove it from my credit report? Because they could simply close it and say you paid it, but it's still on your credit report, which you don't want that because why would you still want to collect a collections agency on your credit report when you paid it all? So that's the third thing. Like, if you're going to pay at all, make sure that they are taking it off your credit report. I've seen it too many times. Shit, it happened to me. Well, I paid 2 and they left it on there. And I mean, I just kept going to Credit Karma and disputing it and it finally got off. Get it in writing, get it in an email, record the conversation. Because if you're going to pay, get it off your credit report. For the next 3 years, that's exactly what I did. In those 3 years, I had some highs and some lows. I mean, I went through basically where I got in some trouble with the law because I tried to defend one of my friends and a cop forged my signature, so I wasn't able to get a job for a while, but it all worked out because it was all bullshit anyway. Got a job at Coca-Cola, and that's when I really doubled down and started taking all this shit serious. And in 3 years, like I said, I went from a 580, I went to like a 630, jumped crazy like a 670. I finally got 700 again. So when I got the 750, the first card that I applied for was the Apple card. And after I got the Apple card, I believe I waited about like 6 months. I think I was at like a 760, and I went and I reapplied for my Amex Gold card. When I tell you guys the feeling that I felt when I applied for this card and got accepted once again, man, it felt amazing. And that's because like I went through so much shit, bro. So much shit. And like, it wasn't just like a credit thing. It was like a goal, like, yo, fuck all of this. I'ma be better than this. And the fact that this was my first car when I first got started on this journey, I guess you would say, I got it back. So it just shows, don't quit, time will tell. And the funny thing is, when I was in Miami and I just felt like shit, 'cause I didn't have the bread, everywhere you go, you would see people with these Amex Platinum cards. And I remember saying to myself, like, yo, when I get myself out of this situation, I'ma have that card. The accomplishment of having it. I said, I'ma get it. And I went and I got that shit. That was my credit journey, guys. Honestly, when I think about that shit that I went through, well, my late teens, early 20s were just hectic. But like, I've learned so much and it matured me in a way, but I don't regret any of it. It just made me a better person. I'm glad personally that I went through that credit issue at a young age, because the older I got, the more I understand. Like I said in the beginning of the video, cash is king, but credit is God. Now we're approaching the end of this video. I hope this video isn't too long because it was a lot of like storytelling. I left some stuff out because it was just too damn long and I wasn't trying to make it even longer. Let me know if you guys like these type of videos. Other than giving you guys entertainment, I want to bring you guys more value. Thanks for allowing me to rant. And like I said, I never thought I would have made this type of video ever. Until next time, it is your boy Ashton Royale, and I'm signing out of here.